everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Hybrid Athlete Podcast. It's me, your host, Nate. So nice to see everyone again. I hope everyone is doing well. Just a quick reminder, I think I shared my email on my YouTube channel and online. So if anyone's looking to get into maybe some training and start a program or something, I pull the latest data from USDA.gov, so I have accurate nutritional labels and stuff, accurate macros and everything for your workouts and diet. So macros for your diets, rep ranges and stuff for your workouts. So you can go into sets. You can get a total idea for how much volume you're putting in on a weekly basis. You can just kind of navigate across different types of upper body, lower body, kind of alternate. You can create a full body alternated workout, do kind of a muscle specific workouts and stuff. So I do a lot of different things on these templates. But anyways, it's nice to catch up with everyone and see everyone again. So just wanted to kind of touch base on what I'm doing personally and my workouts and stuff, and share some I guess some positive updates, some good news, overall. So maybe I'll pull up start doing some of these visuals here and give you guys an idea of what I'm progress and stuff. But so I've been doing the bulk and trying to get bigger, basically up to 210, bulk up to 210, 215 ideally. So I'm right now sitting right at about 205, 204, 205 fasted, probably 202, 203 fasted post cardio in the morning, some mornings, but feel good about, where I'm at. And I've been, executing kind of a pretty consistent diet plan. I've got kind of some unclean food in there. I got, I'll eat like Pop Tarts sometimes, even with a protein shake, or I'll have I'll mix in some extra added sugar, to be honest. So that stuff will be cleaned up in my diet. But ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm basically, getting into building my strength, like focusing on two different types of workout weeks. So, I listen to a lot of advanced guys now that are online, and there's all these trends, there's all these fads that are like, there's just like, warrior workout where you're like, nonstop volume until you drop dead. Okay, I guess that works. There's, powerlifting, which is like rest 5, 10, 15 minutes between sets. I see plenty of guys that are strong, that go to the gym, that they're standing there next to the squat rack, scrolling on their phone for 3 to 5 minutes, do a set, do it again, scroll 3 to 5 minutes, chill, relax, go get something to drink, come back 3 to 5 minutes later. So it takes them 2 hours to do a leg day. But I'm not about that. I'm about intense volume, but like I'm focused, me personally, on building up my strength so that I can be like functional, so that I can have still have deep good cardio and continue to grow and like visually grow, but also weight wise, like physically grow. I've been at the rate of like half a pound to a pound every month or two. So that's kind of where I'm at, to be honest. My growth has slowed, but I'm still increasing. So I'm trending upwards. My diet plan is basically, and I even have, on this template that I'm sharing, I have a similar kind of diet plan where, it's pretty much like 3 to 4 food meals and then 2 liquid meals. So, especially during the week, like I'll have a first meal this late morning, in between work. And then before my first workout, this one on here, this template's after my first workout, but before my second workout, for example, on a Monday, I'm eating something similar. I'm eating like 4 to 6 ounces of protein and some carbs, plenty of vegetables. So, protein shakes twice a day. So, I've been following that system so that I feel to feel as good as I can in the gym. And that's where I'm at, is I feel really as good as I can, to be honest. When I'm caffeined up, when I got my rest, my water, I'm hydrated and all that stuff, I really lean into a workout and I enjoy working out as hard as I can, pretty much every day I work out. The last day of the week, like this morning, for example, is different. I'm trying to have that bodybuilding approach. And this is one thing, now we're going to get into kind of the science, or kind of the mentality of what I've been doing lately, is I'm focused on like really, really hitting those muscle groups that need to be brought up. So I've been really going after my hamstrings and leg day, for example. I've been, just basically the most brutal sets that I've been doing, pyramid sets, higher volume, but like, increasing the weight and also increasing reps and kind of dropping, and vice versa, doing like a reverse pyramid type thing. So I've been going at it with hamstrings. I feel like they're growing. I feel like I'm getting a good response. It takes me 4 to 6 days, probably 4 to 5 days to recover from a full on leg day. So that's kind of, my most intense workout. So that's on point. And I feel like my strength has gone up too. Like I'm doing higher volume, right around, 300 to 295, 315, 3 plates. Now I'm kind of going into that. And trying to really lean into those heavier sets of like, that 6 to 10, 6 to 12 range. It's kind of, I think most people would agree, like kind of ideal for hypertrophy training and muscle growth. You don't risk injury when you're doing squats like that. I'm avoiding. I don't think I'll ever do very heavy deadlifts or squats. I'm kind of in the same sweet spot at deadlifts. My volume is like 3 to 8 reps on deadlifts and squats. Really, when I'm at the heaviest weight that I can handle. And I think that's still a good place to be for like muscle growth. I don't think you're really losing gains when you really have an intense set that's like focus on form, but you still have that heavy weight. It's like that Ronnie Coleman type thing of lift as heavy as weight as possible for as many reps as possible. And we're obviously not taking gear. I'm not using steroids. I am using plenty of good supplements, so I feel good. I feel like I'm geared up for these heavier these heavier days of like leg day specifically, and now getting into chest day that's a little bit heavier and a little bit more taxing on my nervous system. So that's kind of where I'm at, is I'm building up my nervous system in ways to where I maybe do a couple of doubles, so a couple of sets of two, even though I can probably do 4 to 5 reps at that weight. I'm just kind of like accommodating my nervous system into to be able to handle more weight as I grow and as I develop. And to be honest, this is new territory for me because again, I'm like 18 months out of a marathon. So anyone that's kind of shifted from endurance into a marathon, Mitchell Hooper is a great example. He's like a world class power lifter, bodybuilder, strength, strongman, and he used to run marathons like me. But now he's like 340 pounds, lean, one of the strongest men on the planet. So there's definitely, shifting your body. You're going to hit these growth spurts to where you're breaking plateaus. You want to like focus and dial in on how can I get the most out of that. And my perspective, over the last couple of months has been like, okay, I'm staying healthy. The quality of my workouts and my weight that I can handle is increasing. I've basically jumped up 20 pounds on things like barbell rows, which is like a big back builder. My push-ups are, I'm doing push-ups at the end of, these heavy chest days just to really push the blood and get hypertrophy, while my weight on the top sets, on the supersets and stuff and drop sets is going up. So volume's increasing, form's getting better. I feel like everything's a positive update, to be honest. And this is where I'm going to like, kind of insert maybe some new training techniques in, or maybe, give you guys an update and maybe give you guys a perspective from a guy that's, relatively advanced. I'm not an elite guy. I always say that, full disclosure, I'm not going to be winning any bodybuilding competitions in the next few years, probably for the rest of my life. I won't win any, big bodybuilding competitions. But what I am saying is that effort's the first thing, obviously, and effort is very important. But I'm kind of into the zone of how can I get an edge on different types of movements and different types of pulls and triggering that muscle. Like lower back's a great example. I focus on my back a lot, but I just talked about volume variations, like probably 3 to 8 reps of like big muscle groups is a good rule of thumb. The other thing that I'm bringing to the table with you guys is, like on back, really slow that move. Do reps of backs slower and mix those in. Like even a pull up, I'll focus on like not swinging. So if I'm just hanging from the bar and I'm cranking out 6 to 10 reps or whatever. Then I'll take a break. I'll jump off and I'll jump back on, and then I will literally just like focus on the plane that I'm coming up, and then I'll go all the way above, hold it, squeeze, and then slowly go down. And those types of like emphasis on the movement, on the slowness and complete control really makes a difference. And I feel like guys that have a good back, guys that are professionals, guys that are like elite, you look at a guy like Brandon Curry and who's going to the Olympia, when he trains back, it's like lighter weight, but it's complete control, and ultimate authority over where that weight's going, like what muscles he's engaging. And, there's plenty of guys that are online that talk about that. So that's where I'm at with larger muscle groups and with really growing and legitimately building my physique now through 2026 is like, I want to be like a solid 215, maybe even 220. Who knows? That could happen. But at least 210 to 215 by the end of this year, like, stacked at my shoulders and stuff. And I'm getting bigger, but I want to be like legitimately stronger, legitimately like, if I could quantify the growth I've made in 18 months, for example, it's about 27 pounds of body weight. Let's be honest, 25 to 27 pounds of body weight, 27 on a good day at this point. And then, probably 60 to 70 pounds of strength on a lot of my lifts. You're looking at deadlifts and squats, like those have been major improvements. Even back barbell rows, dumbbell rows, things that where I'm both improving on quality of the set as well as quality of the rep, as well as the weight, the overall weight. So I think when you do it right, I mean, unless you're like a polished guy that's in your late 30s, early 40s, that's a professional bodybuilder, you're always going to be like filling these gaps and learning how to grow. So 99.99% of people listening to this or people that work out can use this tool to use this functionality. Deciding when to. So that's like the second thing, right? So quick review: 3 to 8 reps, I think, on larger muscle groups is a big one, and then slow mixing in at least 1 to 2 sets of very slow reps on muscle groups like back and even chest. I would say back and chest, like the large upper body muscle groups. Really focus. It doesn't have to be the entire workout. It doesn't even have to be multiple sets. It can be just like your drop set turns into, let me just go with 185 on the bench, just like slow, complete control. Like I don't bounce it. I don't do. It's in complete control. I'm squeezing. I'm using the right kind of joint movement and stuff, and I'm engaged. That type of stuff can really like send you over the edge in terms of reaching a new plateau. Because if you're like me, and anyone who does an experienced lifter knows it. Like there's some time frames you're like, I'm eating everything right. I'm lifting. I'm giving 100%. I haven't missed a day. Everything's on point, and I haven't seen any progress for like 6 weeks to 2 months, and that can happen. But I prefer to not take extra rest and just let my body evolve and let myself naturally break through that plateau, if that makes sense. So that's the third thing that I want to bring up is like, I think, guys that are like David Goggins and guys that are kind of psychos, or, they maybe take it to the extreme, like no days off, even if you're exhausted, even if your muscles hurt, even if your joints go hurt, you go run 15 miles, right? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like, don't, if you're like on the edge of like, oh man, like I really am tired. Like I know I'm supposed, I know I said I'm going to work out 6 days this week, but this last day I'm really tired. Like just do it anyways. And then you'll literally every single time you'll never regret it. And you'll also be surprised with yourself and like how much you actually do put out when you get going. And even if you're tired, because there's a different type of soreness, there's a different type of tired when you're like, fuck man, like I literally have gone 5 days super hard, and now on the sixth day I'm just like going through the motions trying to lift the chest day or whatever, like doing some dumbbell press or whatever, or doing some pull-ups. And then eventually you kind of like have a different type of soreness. It's a different type of fatigue, but you push through that. And then when your body does fully recover, I lean towards that. Like I don't really care. Those types of workouts, it's like, who cares about the weight? It's just the fact that I'm doing it and giving a solid effort matters, and it's going to make me grow and do better. And I've had those weeks where I'm like, man, like my bench press has literally gone down versus the previous week, but it's because I'm like slightly not letting myself recover. Maybe I did heavy arms, heavy triceps the day before. I really don't care, because like ultimately at the end of the day, when I am fully recovered and when I do have that day off, it comes back stronger. So it's just like tear down, and don't hurt yourself, don't get injured. But that's my third, kind of update this week and this month is like, just keep tearing yourself down until you can actually build back up, and you'll build back up through the progress, through the recovery phase, through your body's forcing your body to make improvements. And it's not forcing an injury, but it is like, sometimes it's like, I don't care about the weight. I'm going to have that militant mindset of like, okay, I'm doing 6 days. I don't care how it feels at the end of the week. And not only that, but I'm going to like focus on doing what I just said the previous two, like the right rep range for these larger muscle groups, as well as like varying pace of my sets. Take 2 seconds to do a rep, take, 3/4 of a second to do the next rep, take 2-3 seconds to do that rep on the last set, stuff like that. So I hope everyone, gets something out of this. This is my update for this month, pretty much for the next few weeks. I'll try to post another video in the next couple of weeks, but wanted to share that with you guys, and hope everyone's doing well in the gym and doing good things. So